Am I the asshole for refusing to open the door for my brother and his kids? I, 27, lost my wife to brain cancer less than a year ago. It was devastating. She was about to start her career as a doctor. My family just called and visited from time to time. They'd avoid me mostly. They've been busy trying to fix brother's issues with his wife. They've been having problems for months and my mom and aunt were trying to get involved and fix the situation for the sake of kids. My brother ends up going to stay with mom every time he had an argument with his wife. They've 3 kids. I've heard brother and his wife are doing okay. Mom calls me to check in on me. Mostly to brag about her efforts to fix the situation between my brother and his wife. This was my first VD without my wife and it hurts. I decided to spend the day at home. By myself and look at some pictures and remember some of our great moments as a way to feel better. I got a call from my brother telling me that he and his wife were on the way to drop off their kids so I could watch them while they go out to a restaurant. I politely said no. I needed some time for myself. This is my first VD without my wife so I expected they'd understand. He finished the call deliberately. Then 18 million later I heard knocking on the door. I saw my brother with his kids at my door. I was pissed. I spoke to him behind the door and told him I won't open the door after he already ignored my answer. He complained that he's already here and didn't find anyone else and that I was being unhelpful and mean to my nephews and niece. I reminded him that I wanted time for myself and I'm not ready to babysit for them. His wife got out of the car and they both started talking about how selfish I was and that I'm refusing to help and trying to ruin their dinner because misery loves company. I argued with them and after they kept pressuring me I walked away from the door and went into the bedroom. They left then I received a call from mom berating me for refusing to watch the kids and that I might have just ruined what she and aunt tried to fix. That brother needed support at this time and I was being unsupportive and bitter. I lashed out and reminded her that I'm the one who needs support because my wife's no longer here. It hasn't even been a goddamn year and this is how they're acting? I just hung up on her after she tried to blame me for not opening the door for them and said I was selfish and miserable. From what I understand my brother was probably counting on me having the kids till the next day. Since mom mentioned details I assume it was her idea but I ruined it for them and no this isn't the first time I babysit for them. But this time I really thought they'd leave me alone. My aunt had her son-in-law and daughter visiting. But I have no idea why my mom didn't take the kids. Probably thought that having the kids stay with me will keep me from feeling upset. Not the asshole there being extremely selfish and it's not your job, or frankly, anyone else's, to help fix their relationship or watch their kids. They suck, and I'm sorry for your loss. Not the asshole. First off, I am so sorry about your wife. Cancer is a demon I wish we never had to meet. Second, you said no. No, is a complete sentence. They counted on you saying yes and steamrolled you when things didn't go their way. That's _horrible, _. Your family is wretched for this one. Why didn't your mom or aunt watch them? Not the asshole. I can't believe how selfish and entitled your brother is. Not the asshole. I offer my condolences and anger with a few choice words. Shame on them, especially your mother. Shame, shame, shame. I literally feel the hurt reading this and they can't or don't care, either one is bad. I hope you get some help and again I am so sorry for your loss. It really breaks my heart reading this and it makes so pissed at their entitlement. Again shame on them. You are not the asshole. I am so sorry for your loss and that they can't see the pain you are in. To be there for your support. Not the asshole. He called you and you told him as politely said no and politely as possible said that this was your first Valentine's Day without your wife since her passing and wanted to have the day to yourself thinking he would have understood your situation but he still deliberately brought his kids to your home even when you said no. Not the asshole. I'm a parent of young kids and understand that sometimes you'd like a night out without them. However, your brother and Sil went about this in a way that makes them absolutely taut. In fact, I would think that attempting to force your grieving sibling to look after your kids after he politely declined and then involves other family to get him in line ups you to a category of super assholes. Your mom is also an asshole for enabling your brother. Not the asshole. Holy hell. No wonder your brother and his wife are having issues. They sound like absolute entitled Oz. Losing your wife, and at such a young age, must be fucking devastating. How does your family not see that? You are definitely not the asshole. OMG, I feel sorry for you. Up. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your family suck. Ignore them. They're all assholes and don't deserve anything from you. Also, I'm sorry for your loss. Not the asshole. I'm so sorry for your loss. You are far from an ah. You are not selfish. I would have done the same thing even if I wasn't going through a loss. You can just randomly expect people to watch your kids because they're at home. And you definitely can't force them to watch your kids by bringing them to someone's house after they said no. Their poor planning isn't on you. And if your mom had that much of a problem with it, she could have watched them herself. Again, you are definitely not the asshole. If they keep bothering you about it, then block them. You need this time to heal. Speak to a therapist if you can. Good luck. Not the asshole. Look, even if this weren't a difficult anniversary for you, you wouldn't be the asshole. It could be a random weekend when you had no plans or pain to confront whatsoever, and you would not be the asshole for saying no to babysitting and sticking to that. No, your brother and family cannot just decide for you how you spend your free time. They can ask if you will babysit, but showing up after you said no and then causing issues about it was horrible. Not the asshole. Keep that door closed. Not the asshole, and I can why they are so miserable together. They really deserve each other. Not the asshole. If she cares so much, why didn't she watch the kids? Your family sucks. Are you close to your wife's family? Maybe they'd be better support for you than the cray-crays you're related to. Wow. Sue, not the asshole. I can't imagine how people have the audacity to just call someone up and say, hey, I'm on my way to drop off my kids for you to watch, with no prior agreement under normal circumstances, and to do so considering what you've recently experienced as just unfathomable. I'm sorry for your loss, and also for the way your family is acting. I'm sorry for your loss. I lost my first husband when I was 26. Life changes and it won't always be this hard. Not the asshole. Continue to do what you need to do. Most people will not put you and your grief first because they just don't know what to do. I see your mom is trying to save what she can. Unfortunately, she can't do anything to bring your wife back, otherwise I'm sure she would. I suggest anytime they do something like this, you do what you've done. Hang up, don't answer the door, show them what you will put up with and what you want. Not the asshole at all, and I think it might be time to consider going no contact for a while. Seems like they're no good for your mental state. I'm super sad for you. I came very near to losing my wife at age 32 due to a freak occurrence while she was being treated for a kidney stone. She was in an 8-day medically induced coma, and I know it messed me up pretty good at the time. Can't imagine what it's like for you. Not the asshole. Even if you weren't dealing with everything you are currently going through, you had every right to say no to your brother and not be an asshole for it. The reality of the situation just makes him so much worse. Your mother too. Not the asshole. Turning up uninvited to dump kids on someone who explicitly said no will always be an move. It turns into a slanging match with the kids being used as pawns. Very inconsiderate, especially given you're grieving and asked for space. It's unfortunate the rest of the family seem solely caught up in the brother and wife scenario, instead of appreciating your situation. So not the asshole. OMG. First, this was clearly premeditated by your family. Second, we're in a pandemic. Unless you're in one of the few places in the world like NZ where the government and douchebags haven't botched it, they should not be going into a restaurant for a sit-down dinner. It's incredibly selfish to do so. Third, first. They clearly are very selfish and don't care about what's going on in your life. They're also super lazy for not babysitting themselves. Fourth, did I mention we're in a pandemic and there's restrictions in most places for visitors? Even if we weren't, it's not okay to drop kids or pets off with little to no notice unless there's a true emergency. Not the asshole. I'm sorry to hear about your wife. Your brother, his wife and even your mom assuming you'd be their personal babysitter because you're available is wrong. Just because you don't have plans doesn't mean you have to cater to theirs. If they want you to watch their kids, they should call first and ask you. And that phone call should come well before they are on their way over with the kids. NTA, it's not your job to fix their relationship and it's not your job to watch the kids, especially with hardly no notice. If not going on one date crumbled everything your mom and aunt worked on, it wasn't built to last anyway. And why didn't either one of them offer to watch the kids? Your family is treating you like a single man rather than a grieving widower. I'm sorry for your loss. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I'm sorry you lost your wife. No is a complete answer. Yelling at you through a door is a special kind of assholery. Your mom and aunt made a project of your brother. They let him down when they didn't arrange to take the kids in for the VD weekend and pay for a resort hotel suite with breakfast bar and champagne dinners for Saturday and Sunday with massages at the spa, and a chauffeur to take the honeymooners to the airport to pick up their first-class tickets. They should really be ashamed. Not the asshole, I'm sorry for your loss. How selfish are these people? You don't just drop kids or pets off last minute. They just presumed you're available? They should have called days ahead and asked you if you wanted to do this. And that way they could have made other arrangements. If your mother and aunt are so obsessed with fixing this, they should have babysat. Edit to add, I feel so sorry for those kids. Okay, cool, so now we know why brother's marriage isn't working. Both people involved are selfish Oz who only think of themselves, think the world revolves around their needs, and bully their way to getting what they want. Hearing what your mom said, this also seems to be an apple that didn't fall far from the tree. These people will not aid in your healing, and it might be time to distance yourself from them while you grieve. Not the asshole, I hope you feel better soon. If it helps to have feedback from someone who's walked a mile in those moccasins, lost a close relative to a brain tumor, it's a real eye-opener as to which people are actually family and who just happen to share DNA. Not the asshole. Best suggestion I can offer is give it a day or so to steel yourself for a tough conversation, then approach each of these people individually to articulate that the very least anyone can do is be courteous when they're seeking favors. This is not to imply you'd volunteer if they weren't so rude, but to remind them that you've made no promise nor will you. If they don't want to damage their relationship with you, they need to drop the topic. NTA. Listen, you are being baited from now on. Don't answer the phone or door if you want privacy. If asked later, you were out. No details, just out of pocket. If it's important, they will leave a message. Amy, therapist worth their salt, will tell you the same thing, just probably in better words. Not the asshole. My condolences on your loss. My sympathies on having such a worthless family. In-laws kept dropping by unannounced, expecting us to drop whatever we had going for them. I finally fixed it when they dropped by unannounced and knocked hubby, and I grabbed coats and headed to door and opened and walked past them. Said we had plans and were running late, and if they had called we could have set something up. Took 4 times, but they took the hint. They never ever dropped by or stopped over again. Problem solved. Father-in-law grumbled it was my fault because in-laws should be able to drop in whenever. Sorry. Not sorry, but I have a life. Plus it's respectful to ask ahead of time anyway. This can't be real. Nobody can be this dense as to assume a widower of less than a year wants to watch 3 kids on the most romantic day of the year. Not the asshole, obviously. Hey, we know you just lost your wife to something utterly tragic and unimaginable, but I'm my wife that I still have and I want to go out for V-Day, so we're telling you that you're watching our kids, no? What do you mean you won't do it? You selfish, miserable bastard, you have no heart. The absolute nerve of some people. This is disgusting. My sincere condolences up, hope you're doing well. Not the asshole. Your family is horrible. Not the asshole. If your mom and aunt did all that planning to help brother and Sil, then why didn't they plan out a babysitter? They should have called you when the planning took place, and even then they should have had a plan B. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Misery loves company, indeed. You brother and his wife are miserable in their marriage, and they want to make sure everyone else is pulled into the mess. Probably thought that having the kids stay with me will keep me from feeling upset. Which is why she called you selfish and miserable? If she started out with good intentions, she certainly didn't end up that way. As for your brother and his wife, what a horrible example to set for their kids. arguing with you through the door, trying to dump them off on you. Ah, so sorry for the loss of your wife. And sorry for your sorry family. I feel sorry for those kids, too. If you're able, let them know that you love them and hope they understand that it had nothing to do with them. You just didn't feel able to be with them that day and their parents shouldn't have pushed it. Not the asshole who just shows up with their children expecting childcare. Your brother and Sil are totally the assholes. Not the asshole up, I am sorry for your loss. Not the asshole, I'm so sorry for your loss heart, ignoring the fact that you are recently widowed and grieving and this is your first Valentine's Day without your wife. They would still be the A for showing up unannounced and expecting you to watch 3 children. Their kids are not your responsibility. This is a textbook manipulation technique. 1. They don't take no for an answer. 2. They put you in a situation where saying no would be embarrassing or extremely difficult for you. This usually involves children in some way to guilt trip you. Why won't you help the children? Not the asshole. Even if you weren't grieving the loss of your wife, their actions are horrible. If you have other family, I suggest you reach out to them, because I bet mom and bro are going to complain to them and make you seem like an ah. Best head that off and make sure they have the correct version of events. Not the asshole. Even without the grief you are still dealing with and their relationship problems. You never have to agree to babysit last minute. It's great if you decide you want to help, but you don't have to. Especially since it wasn't for an emergency but for a night out. Just ignoring your answer on the phone is so disrespectful. If they had plans that required a babysitter they should have planned ahead, asking you if you would be willing to babysit and when you said no, find an alternative. Also, if the relationship is so fragile, not finding a babysitter for a night out is something it can't survive. I am not sure how much your aunt and mom can try to fix for them. Not the asshole. I'm going to be honest, one fancy evening isn't the kind of thing that fixes marriages, and your family is delusional if they think it will. If they need to ditch their kids to fix their marriage is fundamentally broken. Your family is entitled and bratty. Start setting some sturdy boundaries now. Not the asshole. Frankly, your family sucks. Your brother and Sil are uncaring entitled assholes and your mom is an enabler. Sorry for your loss. Not the asshole. If their relationship is so broken that they can't communicate or be around each other, changing the setting and removing the kids that tie them together for a few hours isn't going to change that. They are adults that need to figure out how to co-parent, and if that involves them staying together, great. If not, great. No one else should be involved with that except maybe a therapist. Not the asshole. What parent in their right mind calls someone up last minute on Valentine's Day and tells her that they will be babysitting 3 kids? Not the asshole. Your brother lack of planning and sympathy, manners and humanity does not constitute a problem for you. You are so very not the asshole. Your family on the other hand sounds like they are. It was completely selfish for them to have treated you that way, especially while you are still grieving. I am very sorry for your loss. I am so sorry for your loss. This must be a really hard time for you. Your family's selfishness and entitlement to your time is unbelievable. You deserve support right now. I'm sorry that your family is not providing it. Getting into counseling or even a support group could really help you. I am so sorry for your loss. 100% not the asshole. Not the asshole. I'm sensing some golden child syndrome going on here with your mom and brother.